This is Sunday evening, February 8th, 2026. Just take a listen on this video and understand the amount of money that the federal government of Nigeria must have been spending to reach out to people just to speak on their platform that there is nothing like genocide in Nigeria. If actually there is nothing like genocide in Nigeria, why are they spending all this money reaching out to people, telling them that they want to come on their platforms? I'm talking about the international platform. Just take a listen.
Growing trend all over the world, including in the United States, but especially in the Middle East. It's been there for a long time. That has gotten worse. Hamas is the quintessential example of that hatred for Jews and for Christians. And then you have a situation like in Nigeria, where more Christians have been killed there than anywhere else in the world. And you have a government in Nigeria that practices denial, a culture of denial. No, nothing to see here. They even hired DC. A big firm here in D.C.
The First Lady was here. She was here this week, and in fact, they wanted to come on the program to talk about religious freedom. And I said, I'm not going to give them. I'll meet with them. I'm happy to meet with anybody.
Same here.
But I'm not going to give them a platform to cover up what they're doing in Nigeria.
And that's just what it is, a massive cover-up. You know, I met with a big delegation that came in, and it went for almost 2 hours. And the Attorney General of Nigeria said that this Bishop Anabe, who I had at two of my hearings, you were there.
He testified right next to me.
Right next to you. A wonderful man. He said, oh, he's a liar. And I said, whoa, stop that, you know. And then they always do the thing, well, my wife's a Christian, or I'm a Christian, and my husband, you know, it's like, don't tell me that. What is happening as churches are being firebombed, people are being killed in cold blood, you know, abductions, which is very, very big there in Nigeria, of Christians especially, but others, but especially Christians. And there's this assault on faith that has gotten worse. Obama did nothing. You know, Boko Haram flourished under his 8 years in office, and now
it was your persistent advocacy that actually eventually got them labeled as a terrorist organization.
For 3 years we tried, Tony, and I had hearings on it. We had people give very, very compelling testimony as to what Boko Haram was doing, and finally, on the day we were marking up my bill to tell the administration you have to declare them a FTO, foreign terrorist organization, that day, that hour, basically, they said, oh, they're an FTO. Yeah. And it was like 3 years ago, we could have been working to find out where their sources of funding and weapons.
Before they kidnapped many of the girls.
That's right. The Chibok girls and many of the others were all. And that continues to this day.
Let me ask you about that, Congressman Smith, because as you say that it's gotten worse, you've got these dictators and tyrants in different parts of the world. My experience when I was chairing the USERF Commission, going to different countries, is that many of these bad actors have seen what's happened in America over the last 2 decades, where we have gone from one administration that actually, like we have right now, that protects religious freedom, to one that doesn't care about religious freedom and promotes abortion and LGBTQ. And so they just want to wait out. So we're not having that persistent, consistent presence of influence on the world.
Well, that's a very keen observation, because I have found that you even hear that from some of the diplomats when you talk to them. Oh, he'll be gone. Trump will be gone in 2 years. And then potentially could come in a very, very liberal Democrat like the governor of California, who couldn't care less about religious freedom. You know, I remember I had hearings.
Well, it's the Democratic Party doesn't care about it.
There are many. There are
it's very clear.
Most of them don't. You're right.
But when you come to their priorities and their platform,
it's not there.
You don't see it there.
Right. And, you know, we saw it with Barack Obama. I would continually say, okay, the International Religious Freedom Act, authored brilliantly by Frank Wolf, it says you must provide us with countries of particular concern, countries that are really doing bad things that could be sanctioned. And we wouldn't even get the list year in and year out.
But that legislation also says that religious freedom will be a priority in our foreign policy.
Exactly what it says. A core. Absolutely, it says that. And, you know, it's been in effect since 1998. You know, I'm happy to say that the Republicans have very faithfully administered it or carried it out.
So the situation over time has gotten worse.
Yeah.
we see that we have aggressive action being taken by this administration. In fact, troops being sent to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Do you know what their role will be there?
Well, in the past, there has been an attempt to try to train the Nigerian military in counter.
I've said this, time without number, that if you are an influencer in Nigeria, you want to make money, big amount of money, only thing you have to do is just to align with the powers that be. They are going to feed you with money you want. Just do what they ask you to do. Lie the kind of lies they want you to lie. Do all sort of things that they want you to do. Okay? If they want you to say, they just say that. Forget about it. Anything they want you to say it at the detriment of your people. You will always have the money. Nigeria, for example, as a country, is not supposed to go and borrow money to fund their budget of 2026. These are the things that people don't look into. Like every angle, all corners, the nation is just like a mirage. A mirage is something you see it, you think it exists, but when you come closer, you see that is false. Okay, it doesn't exist. So many things we see in this country, a lot of people are seeing it as if there is a standing pillar, there is something that is standing. Oh, there is a nation of our own, but it's a mirage. In the real sense, it doesn't exist. It does not exist. Everything they are telling you, propaganda upon propaganda. Haven't you seen a lot of people who come to social media to talk about the economic transformation of Tinubu? First of all, they forget that Tinubu devalued Naira. Naira was there about 500 to 600 when he was leaving office, if I'm not even mistaken, if it is up to 600. And at this moment, it is going for $1617. $1,600 to 1,700 Naira per dollar. So you see, it is like into three. So if the states are receiving, for example, 10 billion every month before, now the state's supposed to receive 30 billion, but now states are receiving 20 billion, and they are praising him that he is doing well economically. So a lot of things they have started, the coastal road and so on and so forth. Look at the roads all over the country. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They are spending money on people to defect to APC. That is what they are spending money for. Why people are languishing in IDP camp, nobody is even thinking about, let's build houses for them. Why? Because people in government are colluding with the people who send these people from their ancestral homes to the IDP camp. Now, lastly, when you look at the whole thing, upon the whole money they said they have, Tinubu is still opting to borrow money to fund 2026 budget. I think this should, scare the people. But I'm afraid of Nigerians, because anybody who is expecting a plug on the government, when I mean a plug, a connection for him to start up something, the person will never say the truth. The person will always try to position his mind to please the government. That is what pains me most. If the Chinese have followed this route, they will not be where they are today. If all these countries you are seeing that have developed today, if they follow the way Nigeria is following, they will not be here today. So everything, is threatening the people. Now, when you come to talk about insecurity, I don't call it insecurity again, okay? This is, colonization, a mission to conquer and to Islamize Nigeria. The latest incident that happened, the massacre that happened in Kwara State, you see that the people are confessing every day now, including, who informed the soldiers to leave and so on and so forth, including the helicopters that was hovering around them, that they were hearing the sound, like who owns it, like everything is just so clear. Like these people aren't pretending. They are not pretending at all because of all these things. They're not pretending. Anyway, it's so unfortunate, but it is the way it is.